to me.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. This is going to be fun.
How has it been for you the last couple of weeks with all your sort of new album and concerts in Yellowstone?
I will say last year, the year of 22, I slept in my bed about 20 nights total here in Nashville. And this year, I have only slept in my bed 10. Between playing shows and filming Yellowstone, it's been crazy, but the good kind of crazy. This is it. Everything that we've been working hard for, and feels like everything is coming to fruition. So not complaining. I'm tired, but that's just how it's going to be for a minute.
Obviously, you've got new music coming out. You've been doing concerts everywhere. I imagine you'll be bringing or sort of showcasing your music, whether it's your new stuff or your old stuff, in Yellowstone. How do you feel about that sort of expanding your platform to, a global audience, not just people in the US?
Yes, it's huge. It is so huge. They have put 3 of my songs in the show so far. And it really just introduced my music to a crowd of people who might not listen to radio or might not, have streaming services. And, a lot of people come to my shows and they're like, I found you through Yellowstone. It's just absolutely insane. So back in February, Taylor Sheridan, the writer and producer, he called me and said, hey, I really want to create a character specifically for you. And he said, you can wear what you wear. You can sing your songs, maybe write some for the show. And, it's just a huge opportunity. I don't take it lightly. I mean, this is something brand spanking new to me. I've done little things here and there, like creating little character skits and stuff like that on my own, but I have never done anything like this. And I've always, made a promise to myself that if a door opened, that meant I could share more of my music with the world, that I was going to run through it.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And obviously you'll be joining other cast members who have a sort of music background, obviously Kevin and Ryan Bingham as well, who is very much sort of from that background. Did you have any chats with them, or have they been sort of, I imagine they've been supportive of you as well and sort of giving you tips and things?
For sure. So I actually didn't get to see Kevin on set. He's just as busy, if not busier than I am, but he has supported my music for years now. He's posted about, my songs and stuff like that on his Instagram. And Ryan Bingham was just awesome. He was just as cool as I thought he was going to be. I think he is so talented, and I both singer and actor. I think he can do it all. And I think Kevin can too. And it's so cool to be able to be around people, first of all, people who just like to be creative, because that's what I like to do. I just like to create something, whether it's writing a song or whether it's, putting my brand new acting skills to good use. I just appreciate them. I appreciate their hard work, and I appreciate people who share their creations.
Without obviously giving too much away, can you just explain to us sort of where we find your character, where she sort of fits in season 5, and just a bit more about sort of who she is?
I was given very little character description for my character. I kind of made up some things in my own mind of what I just kind of assumed, like where is she from? Of course, she's going to sound like this. So where would an accent like this be from? Louisiana. In my opinion, well, first of all, the facts is that she is a musician, and she sings country music. It looks like she's, trying to find a fan base of people who really genuinely love her and love her music. And I think she has kind of found that niche in that Montana area. So I think that's why she's kind of hanging out in that area for longer than she normally hangs out in other areas. I think she might have been passing through. I'm kind of making this up in my brain. I think she might have been passing through and realized that, people in that area really do relate and connect to her music.
I'd love to see her and Walker kind of become an item, just because I think they fit together so well, sort of your character and Ryan Bingham's character, just from what you said. And I'd love to see that happen. Whether it does or not, I don't know, but I
think you'll be shocked. I think you'll be shocked to see what happens.
Oh, wow. That's made me even more excited. What were some of the sort of standout moments from you from filming? Obviously, this isn't something you're used to doing, so I imagine it was a sort of overwhelming experience, but were there any sort of particular sort of standout moments for you?
For sure. The first day that I got to the ranch, I had been out to the ranch before to play a little acoustic show during the pandemic for the cast and crew. So I had met a few of the cast and crew, but not everybody. The first day that I was on set, I got to hang out with Beth, Kelly Riley, and I think she is the coolest person I have ever met. I didn't know what to expect. I knew she was going to be a spitfire, but When I tell you she was one of the kindest people I've ever met, she's just a good person. She loves what she does. She takes it serious. And I appreciate that. She like even made me bath salts, and she's like, I made these for the people that I love. And she's like, I love you and your music. And it just meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me that they welcomed me with open arms. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I would show up on that ranch and everybody'd say, who in the hell is this? I didn't know. I didn't know if they were going to be like, this is a singer-songwriter who's never acted. But instead, they were like, no, you pretty much get on stage every single night and act in your own kind of way. So they made me feel welcome.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, they're all amazing. I mean, I've sort of watched them over the years, and just watching them sort of do press and stuff like that, you can tell they're so sort of dedicated to that show. And
they really are.
What was the most sort of challenging thing that you found you overcame? Obviously, this has been a huge journey for you, and you must have got so much out of it. Was there something that you sort of considered a challenge in the beginning that you've kind of learned something from now coming out the other side?
Yeah, for sure. While I was filming pretty much the entire, like my part of Yellowstone, my dad was super sick. He was in the hospital in Houston, Texas for 2 months, and then he ended up going to a rehab for 3 weeks, and now he's actually home and healing. But while we were in the middle of filming, the doctors were telling us, this ain't good. I mean, like, you pretty much need to tell him bye. And it was really, really hard for me to, get in the zone and pretend that my personal family life was not hurting. But I knew that he would want me to pull up my bootstraps, and I knew that he would want me to keep on going, and he wouldn't have it any other way. So I would like do a scene, and then I would go over to the corner at times and I would cry, and then I would come back and I'd do it again. And I had to get through it. And I felt like I had to let out those feelings and emotions just so you couldn't see it on camera,
Bless you, that must have been so hard, but you obviously channeled those emotions in the right way. So, and you got through it. So, yeah. And I'm glad he's okay now. That's great to hear that he's sort of
it's a miracle.
On the road to recovery now. That's brilliant. What sort of things are you most excited for people to see? Obviously, again, without spoiling too much, you said to me there earlier that there's some sort of shocking things. What are you most excited about?
I'm excited for people to see me coming out of my comfort zone. I feel like a lot of people have only ever seen me in front of a camera this way or on stage. I mean, I'm going to be watching myself for the first time right along with them. So we're going to be all judging.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about sort of seeing yourself on camera in that way? Is that something that you're kind of nervous or excited?
The thought of it is strange, but I feel like when I'm watching it, I'm such a fan of the show. I don't even know if it's really going to click that it's me. I feel like I'm just so tuned in. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll have to answer that question after the premiere.
Fantastic. And how does your music how is it used to move the story along? I know all the songs that are used in the series are used in there for a reason. Is there anything about the song that you've included that sort of has a particular message that you wanted to get across?
A lot of the songs on the show are songs off of my record coming out October 28th, but there are a few that were written for the show. And it's so interesting to see, where they end up like placing these songs or like the certain scenes that they put them in. And a lot of the times it's not what you would expect. I feel like a lot of the songs of mine that got synced previously on Yellowstone are not the songs that, like, when I was sitting down writing them, I'm not, I never said like, I'm writing this for Yellowstone. I have done that with a few songs and said, okay, I'm writing this for Yellowstone. And those songs never even get chosen for the show. So it's just so interesting, how they work. Andrea Van Forster, she's a music supervisor of the show, and she does an incredible job. But Taylor Sheridan also has a big say in like what goes where and why it's there. But yeah, so I pretty much sent them over what I had, and they were like, let's do this, this, and this. Some of it fits perfectly into the storyline of whatever scene it is. Other times it's just like me as an artist getting up there singing. It doesn't have really, it's not like the specific storyline is, or the song is for the specific storyline. It's just kind of like I'm up there jamming and it's a song in the background.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And who are you most excited to sort of meet or work with? I know you said there that Kelly Riley was someone that you were excited to meet. Was there anyone else who you sort of were looking forward to working with?
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, all of the bunkhouse boys and girls, they are a good time. I was looking forward to hanging out with them and seeing if, who they are on the show was pretty similar to who they are in real life. And I will say that some of them, yes, they just like having a good time. And those are my kind of people. So the entire cast, the crew, everybody just was way more and just way nicer and way kinder than I ever even expected. And I expected them to be great.
What's next for you then? Obviously, you've got your album coming out at the end of the month. You've been nominated for a whole string of awards. It's, the exciting times just keep on coming. Sort of what's next for you for the rest of the year?
Golly, what is next? Here lately, I've been looking at my calendar just daily just to see what I have to do that day. So we are finishing up tour this year with my good friend, Mr. Luke Combs. Luke and I go way back to probably 2014. He used to come over to my camper trailer and write songs with me when I first moved to Nashville. It's just a full circle moment for me to be out on the road with him. And it's just incredible to see really how far he has come in a short amount of time. He's just a good old boy. He's just a hardworking guy who loves to sing and write country music. And his fans know that about him, and his fans know that he is true blue. And I'm glad to be on the road with somebody like him. And then we just announced yesterday that we are doing C2C, and we're pumped about coming back across the pond to play some more music. Whew, I'm just trying to hold on, to be honest. Somebody told me several years back, they said, it's going to feel like you are like riding in behind a ski boat. And all of a sudden you start picking up speed, and then you stand up and you better hold on for dear life. So that's the way that I feel right now. But this is exactly where I want to be.
Absolutely. And what about the acting side of things? Has this sort of inspired you to continue down that avenue? How have you found the sort of experience?
I've really enjoyed it. I would love to do it more, especially, like I said earlier, if that gives me an opportunity to share more of my music. Songwriting will always be my number one because that's where it started for me. I wrote my very first song at 9 years old, and that was all she wrote. No matter what, that's going to be my priority. But like I said, I really enjoy just being creative in general. So whatever that means, I'm excited about stepping outside of my comfort zone because it seems like every time I do, something magical happens.
So I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add about your music.
October 28th, my record drops, Bell Bottom Country, which means country with a flair. It's about finding whatever it is that makes you and different and leaning into it as much as you can. It could be where you're from, how you were raised, the way that you talk, the way that you look, the way that you dress, your story, and just being unapologetically you. That's what this record's about. And I hope this record encourages people to be nothing but themselves.
Oh, that's such a great message, and that's such a lovely place to finish on. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to speak to me. It's been wonderful. Absolutely. You've been amazing. Can't wait to see you in Yellowstone season 5. Yeah, we'll be watching to see what you get up to.
Thank you so much, girl.
Next. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Take care. Yeah,